I can remember as clear as a bell the first time I told someone that, yes, he has Alzheimer's, but I'm not going to be defined by this disease. I can compartmentalize pretty well, so I try to live my life like that, but that's a joke, that's impossible, because this disease is part of who you are, and everyone that loves that person or cares about that person or knows that person, it filters down.
If I thought, well, what's the point of understanding this disease or living life with it, then I probably just would have gone off in a corner and sucked my thumb, and felt, oh, poor me. But with support and realizing what other people could do, why not us? Why couldn't we do that too?
One of the lovely things about the Memory Center is the annual luncheon where they kind of tell you where they are research-wise, and I think anything that anybody can do to contribute to the knowledge is useful. So we sign up for the studies.
Doug was concerned that he might follow in his mother's footsteps, and she had had dementia. I think he saw signs that maybe he was having memory problems, but at that point he passed the trial conditions, so his memory was good enough, but he also had amyloid plaque. But he took the initiative, which was so great, that he found the clinical trial. I think he knew this is important.
The Penn Memory Center has so many different activities. There were so many more things than existed 10 years ago.
The Memory Cafe was an idea of Genevieve Gellert. I heard about it, and then the next thing I know, there was one. And Carl and I went to the very first one. But it was a really great place for me to be able to bring Carl and feel like he was accepted just the way he was.
The caregiver class was wonderful. It was enormously helpful for me and very calming.
It was wonderful to get to know other people who had similar situations and to hear their stories.
If you're getting frustrated, to kind of try to turn that around and find ways to not be frustrated by that and realize that it's a disease that you're dealing with and not something that they're doing on purpose.
A support group does what you would think a support group does, is give you a safe place to talk about things and to complain and to commiserate and to laugh and just sort of be.
Caregivers Day. It was really neat. It was here. And they did massages, they did manicures. There's some people from Curtis came in and played. There are a lot of lovely activities where you were taken care of instead of being the caretaker.
We did an art project, we did a writing project.
People have many different talents, even if they are suffering from cognitive deficits.
I turned to Felicia and said, we're all farther along in the process now, and the things that we learned in the first course are we've grown out of those. We're now facing other kinds of challenges, and it would be really great to have a follow-up course. And she said, that's a great idea. And she took it and ran with it, and this past spring had 5 workshops, which were just wonderful.
The entire staff works so well together. I think all the receptionists, the aides, everybody is a real team, shows real caring.
You could write them an email and within an hour you'd heard back from them, maybe with an idea or try this number or do this thing, or there was always an answer, and there was always a good answer.
He died on December 18th. December 19th, I received a phone call, and she said, this is Jessica from Penn Memory Center. And I just thought it was a business call. And then she started to cry, and she learned that Doug had died. And it was very touching, her emotion.
I've never heard of another hospital or hospital group that had this much support.
This caregiver course and the caregiver support is very important, and it's all free. So this is funded, I guess, by benevolence, and it's very, very important. I think so many people live a much fuller life.
I can't put enough praise on Felicia and the doctors and the Penn Memory for everything they've done as far as Alzheimer's is concerned. And I want to keep them very viable, and maybe someday I'll be here, if I live long enough, that we can close the place up. There'll be no Alzheimer's.